Hi, this is Amy Rutberg, and you're watching Comedy Matters TV with the one and only Jeffrey Gurian.
Hey, it's Jeffrey Gurian here for Comedy Matters TV, and I have a very special guest with me today. I'm here with Amy Rutberg, who I just saw in this really interesting new project, a new series called Karl Manhair, Postal Inspector. Hi, Amy. How are you?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. It's so nice to meet you. You have the most amazing comedy memorabilia. It's like I could stay here all day looking at all your photos.
Well, you're welcome to come anytime you like. I know photos trip me out. I know. I love that. Some of them go back 30 years, believe it or not.
That's incredible. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, tell me about Karl Manhair. It was such a fun project, and you played like a dual part. You were Amy and Dolores. Am I correct?
Yes, I play a character with a sort of scary alter ego. I mean, are we allowed to give spoilers? I guess so.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. So
we can do anything we want. That's why we came to America.
Oh, that's true. Good point. So Karl is kind of a man down on his luck, played by Jeffrey Cantor, and
played very well.
He's great, right? So I'm his sort of life coach. He has hired me to help him improve his life. So when you first meet my character, you sort of think she's one of those new age LA types, as I like to say, with the smoothies and the, namaste. But then it turns out that she's got sort of a secret thing going on. She's actually the leader of what do we call it? A sex cult?
A sex cult. Yeah, yes, exactly.
Cult, like a BDSM. Yeah, it gets a little kinky.
But you did it well.
Thank you. Yes. And this is all, this is not it's a comedy, people. So, it's not, we're not.
It's not typecasting, right? You played the role.
Yeah. We never know.
That's true. I don't want to presuppose anything.
No, not typecasting. Not as typecasting as the life coach either. I'm not sure which in real life I'd be closer to, the life coach or the leader of a sex cult. Neither would actually be. Neither would
be appropriate. Right?
No,
somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere way in the middle. Yeah.
So how did you get involved in the project in the first place?
It's funny. I think that the director, Chandler Kaufman, who's a super talented guy, by the way.
Yeah, he's an award-winning director, right?
Yes, he's an award-winning director, and it was so neat to just see the project the other night with you, wasn't it? Weren't even everything from like the credits to, I mean, it was just beautifully done. And so, he's a really talented guy. He's got a great sense of humor. So I think he saw me in something, or maybe saw my I don't remember how we got connected. But the sort of funny thing is that, there's really only three sort of main characters in this, which is myself, Jeffrey Cantor, and then Peter McRobbie, who's a character actor, has been around a long time.
Right?
Not too long after we shot this, we all got cast in DareDevil, the Marvel show.
Yes, I know. I want to talk to you about that. Marcy Stahl, right?
Yes. So we all ended up being sort of these, we're like wrapping season 3 now. We all sort of ended up being kind of these, cool characters in this Marvel show. And we all knew each other the three of us knew each other from doing Karl Manhair. So it's just such a small world. I mean, they're totally unrelated, but.
Yeah, so it was just a coincidence that you all wound up on DareDevil?
Absolutely. I mean, Karl Manhair is this quirky comedy. I mean, DareDevil is an amazing show, but I don't think anyone would call it a quirky comedy. I mean, it's, it's like some serious superhero stuff.
And now Matt Murdock plays a blind lawyer in DareDevil. For anybody who doesn't know, Charlie it's on Marvel.
Yeah, Matt Murdock. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then at night he turns into a superhero. Yeah. But is he blind then too? Yeah. Because I see him fighting all these guys.
No. He's totally blind. It's but his senses, all his other senses, his hearing, his intuition, that's kind of the superhero part. What makes Matt Murdock sort of one of the most interesting superheroes is that he doesn't have like a power. He's not like,
a superpower, like he can't fly or anything.
No, he can't fly. He can't be invisible. He's not like Spider-Man. He doesn't have like webs that he can but it's just like heightened senses and intelligence.
Well, he actually gets hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets wounded. He gets beat up all the time for a superhero. I mean, I saw him kicking like he's fighting 20 guys, but he winds up getting hurt.
Oh yeah. He's a lot of that show I feel like is Matt recovering from being DareDevil. Yeah, with the bruises and the big time.
Were you a comic book reader as a kid? Do you mind? I'm just going to move a little bit.
Not really. I wasn't into sort of superhero comics. I went through a phase where I was really into like Archie and Veronica comics. But since I've been with Marvel and with Daredevil for the last, I think it's like 4 years now, I've become a huge Marvel fan. Like I see all the movies, I watch all the shows. Like I'm really geeked out on it now. But that came because of this.
Because of that.
Yeah, totally.
Did you ever meet Stan Lee?
I haven't met Stan Lee. I haven't. I was supposed to meet him once. I think he was either. Was he supposed to be at a Daredevil premiere? Was he supposed to be at a screening for something? But I remember someone said I arrived and someone was like, "You just missed Stan Lee," and I'm like, "What? What do you mean I just missed Stan Lee?" Like, okay, that's a pretty big deal. No, unfortunately I haven't met him.
And who took over? Joe Quesada is his name?
Joe, yeah. I love Joe. Joe's also a friend. Joe and I actually train with the same trainer. And he's just, oh my gosh, what a talent and a hell of a nice guy.
It's amazing that people could come up with concepts like that and they last so long and people follow them. They just create these characters. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
No, absolutely. And the Daredevil rights, they made a movie of Daredevil. I can't remember who I don't remember who made the movie, maybe Universal, with Ben Affleck. And so they owned the rights to Daredevil for a long time. And Joe told me once, and I don't think this is a secret, but maybe it is. Joe told me once that years before Marvel got the rights back to Daredevil. So like the idea of a TV show, the idea of Netflix wasn't even like a flicker in anyone's, imagination. He had envisioned Charlie Cox playing Daredevil.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if it was from Stardust or from Boardwalk Empire. I don't know the exact timing, but he had this vision. Like he was like, oh, if we ever, it would be crazy if we got back Daredevil, but if we ever did, Charlie Cox would be a great Daredevil. And then look what happened.
Isn't that something? Yeah. I love the synchronicity of events like that. That's very, very exciting. And then you wound up, there's a crossover show. First I want to say, you play Foggy Nelson's girlfriend, right? Yeah, Foggy Nelson
started as his girlfriend. I started as his ex-girlfriend adversary, but yes, we have.
You wound up being his girlfriend, right? Yeah.
Yes, I won't tell you what happens in season 3, but yes, there have been, Marcy and Foggy have a very interesting relationship. Yeah,
it's a fun show. And then you wound up being on a crossover show, right? The Defenders. I make an appearance
in The Defenders. I do. That was really fun.
As the same character as Marcy Starr.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, once you're in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you don't get to change characters. They don't recast you in other stuff. Like once you're in, that's it. Like you're that character. So I felt really lucky to get to do a crossover. Hopefully I'll get to do it again. Hopefully someday I'll be in Jessica Jones or Luke Cage or.
Well, not many people get a chance to do that. In the comedy world, Richard Belzer played Detective Munch, and I think he wound up doing that in 5 different shows from SVU.
Right? Yeah.
5 different shows, the same character. It's very rare on regular TV.
Yeah. Cool. They do that with the Chicago shows and the SVU, the Law and Order shows. It's pretty neat. So
I heard that you got your first agent before you were 17, right?
Oh, I did. Yeah. Well, I grew up outside of LA. It was something I always wanted to do, even when I was a kid. Actually, when I was a real little kid, I don't remember this, but my mother says, I was really into acting and just into putting on my own shows and telling my own stories. And my mother explained to me, or someone must have explained to me, how it works. Like to get on TV, you need to get an agent. Mm-hmm. And I was a little precocious shit. Can we curse on your show?
Yes, you could say anything you want. Yeah.
Well, it's a comedy show, so I'm assuming we can say that. Yeah. So she.
You actually have to curse on this show.
You have to curse. You have for anyone to actually watch it. Yeah. So she. I said, well, I want to get an agent. Let's get an agent. And she found this very amusing. So she bought a book from a bookstore or something that was this was back in the day, so it wasn't online. So it was like a listing of all the Hollywood agents. And she gave it to me, and apparently I just made phone calls at the age of 7 or 8 until agents would see me. I was just calling them.
7 or 8 years old.
I was like, I want an agent. And some of them were entertained by that. And so brought me in for a meeting, and I eventually got an agent. But I was not a successful child actor in the TV film world. I was. It was funny. I worked with Eldon on Daredevil, who was an incredibly successful child actor. He did all those. What are those? The movies, the hockey movies, the Mighty Ducks, and yeah. but I was not successful. I always looked
Probably lucky that you weren't, though, because so many of those turned out like
all worked out the way it was
very difficult lives.
Totally.
Yeah, well, it always does. Yeah. Right.
But I always looked so much older, and I was such a mature kid that, like, if you want a 10-year-old, you don't want a 10-year-old who seems like they're 15. You want a 10-year-old you want a 15-year-old who looks like they're 10.
Yeah, right.
You know, like that's just the way it works. Mm-hmm. So I didn't. Every time I'd go in, they would be like, "She's talented, but she seems so much older. She seems so much older." And then they sent me in for older parts, and like then I was competing with like real people who were like that age, and So I was not. The first part of my career was like all theater. That was really that was my, and that's how the comedy stuff really came up, because theater and comedy are they're very closely related.
Absolutely.
So for years in my career, all I did was comedies and musical theater, and do you know who Charles Busch is? You've got to know who Charles Busch is.
I do know who Charles Busch, yeah.
I did a ton of his plays in New York, and he's like a sort of interesting niche New York playwright known for his comedies, and yeah.
Don't you find that comedy is more difficult than drama to do?
Oh, yeah. But comedy, it's interesting. I think comedy and music are very closely related.
Well, there's a rhythm. You have to have a rhythm in comedy. The timing.
Musical to do. I don't mean stand up, because I don't actually know what that's like. I've never done stand up.
I was going to ask you if you ever tried stand up.
I think I would enjoy it. But to do comedic plays, or to do sitcoms, or to do funny movies, anything that there's dialogue that you have to hear the music in your ears. Mm-hmm. You have to hear the rhythm of the comedy. That's really, and so, I do a lot of work on the Colbert Show. Oh, yeah. And it's fascinating to watch Stephen work. Because I always shoot my bits, and then I'm like in the dressing room, and I like to watch rehearsal. And Stephen really is the head writer of that show. I mean, he's brilliant. Mm-hmm. And he knows how everything should sound in his head. So when the writers, who are all so talented, and they go and they pitch him something, or they show him like a sketch that we've shot or whatever, he wouldn't even need to watch it. He can just listen to it, and he would just be like, "Okay, you have to change that word. You have to go back. No, add that. Blah 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 blah." And like it's just so fast, because it's a brilliant comedic mind that just hears it in his head. But it's like music.
It's exactly like music. It's very intuitive of you to say that, because as a music person myself, and as a stand-up comic, I'm very aware of that. It's all about timing and pausing at the right places, and it really is musical.
Yeah, it's musical.
And you can hear it. There's a certain tone that stand-up comics take, a certain rhythm that they take. And if you do it wrong, the jokes don't work. Yeah. No. And so it's so interesting.
Totally right.
I saw you as
like that as stand-up, and too. It's a stand-up. Yeah.
I saw you as a news commentator on Colbert. Yeah. Like you were doing a false news.
I know. Yeah, that's one of the characters that I do on Colbert. I've done Stormy Daniels. I've done some. Yes, I've done some pretty fun stuff. That's been.
I love false news. You see my book, Man Robs Bank with His Chin. It's a whole book.
Well, now I'm seeing it, Jeffrey.
It's a whole book of unusual news stories.
Oh, that's so funny.
Because I love unusual news, and that's exactly what you were doing.
Oh, you're a very multi-talented person.
Well, thank you. I try.
That's what New York we have. In New York, we have true creatives, and that's what you are.
Well, thank you. I try and lead my life as an artist, and I see that you do the same. You're doing so many different things. What's coming up for you? What do you want to do that you haven't done yet?
Well, I just shot a pilot for ABC called Get Christy Love. I'm hoping to find out today that it gets picked up. Today's kind of the day.
Oh, really? Oh, well, today's going to be a lucky day. It's the 11th, and 11 is a very lucky number. Are you aware that 11 is a lucky number?
Are you aware that my birthday is 11/11?
Is it really? That's very powerful. That's my lucky numbers, 11 and 11 and 22.
Look at that.
That recurs throughout my life so many, many times. I keep lists of all the 22s. My zip code is 22. My deposit bank adds up. The 4 numbers add up to 22. My post office box adds up to 22. Wow. My first day in business was the 22nd. One of my daughters was born on the 22nd. It's amazing how it recurs throughout my life. So if that's your lucky number, it's very powerful.
11 is? Yeah, it is my lucky number. So 11. You were actually meeting me, because I think this is We might have met the other night, but I think this is our official meeting.
Official meeting, because the other night was very brief.
So you were meeting Miss 1111 on the 11th of May. So something's good luck is going to happen to one of us today.
There's no question about it, and I hope it's for you too.
Let's hope no one figures out your bank account number from what you just said. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
My safe deposit box. Yeah, it's uncanny that so many things add up to the same numbers. It's just incredible. And there's a message there, and I'm very open to that. I believe in that. I'm very into healing and energy, and all those things are connected.
You could be the life coach. You're really the one who's
the life coach. Yeah, I do that kind of stuff. Yeah, so it's so interesting. So besides that, is there anything that you haven't done that you would like to do?
Yeah, I really enjoy television. That's really I've so many years in theater, but I really enjoy telling stories. So I would actually love to do, in New York, we film so many dramas. So besides the Colbert show and my theater stuff, and I do this improv show at UCB called Gravid Water.
I was going to ask you about UCB if you do. Yeah, aren't they great?
Have you ever been to Gravid Water? You would enjoy it.
No, I haven't been to Gravid Water, but I go to UCB a lot. East, and also the Chelsea.
That's where UCB. We do this one. Well, the Chelsea one closed, and so now they moved. They moved to Midtown. But I'm going to remember to email you next time. I do it the last Monday of every month, so I'm going to make sure that you get you to come because you'd really enjoy it. I
would love to do that.
Yeah, and sure. you'd know a lot of the people that do it. So I would love to do a comedy TV show on the regular. That would be really. I love the Colbert show, but I'd love to do a scripted comedy series. It'd be really fun.
Like a variety show? A scripted show.
A scripted show. I'd love to do a multi-camera or a single camera, something. That would be so fun because I haven't done much of that because in New York we had 30 Rock for a long time, but we don't have a lot of half-hour comedies.
Not a lot of those shows, right? No. So you heard that here. So if anybody is developing anything, I'll get in touch with Amy for you. Because I think you'd be great. I think I would be so amazing. Well, I thank you so much for coming by today. It's really so cool.
Absolute pleasure. Really, it was so fun to meet you and to see your creative space. And I'm so glad that you're on my radar. Yeah,
it's a very special thing, and I thank you again. Hey guys, thanks for watching Comedy Matters TV. To check out some of our other videos, click on the boxes on either side of me. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Not just for me, but for my parents.